And the regions for the news where you are, but from me, do have a very good afternoon.
Hello and welcome to Look North, the main news from our region this lunchtime. A week on from the Tramlines Festival, questions are being raised about the use of our public parks. And we meet the musician who can play his guitar once again thanks to treatment for Parkinson's disease. Thanks for joining us. A corner of Hillsborough Park is going to be leased to a commercial operator under plans by Sheffield City Council. The changes will create new tennis courts, but it'll also see a popular multi-use games area moved. Some groups who use the park say they're concerned. It comes while vast areas are still cordoned off following last week's Tramlines Festival. Tom Ingle reports.
Park life. It's full of ups and downs. The bike track is a popular Monday morning spot in Hillsborough Park. This area also has tennis courts and a multi-use game area known as a mugger. Now, earlier this year, groups who use the mugger told us they weren't happy with plans to move everything around, potentially shrinking it.
Hello. How are you doing?
Despite that, the council has now advertised its intention to lease this corner of the park to a commercial operator to create new facilities.
Our main concern is the loss of the mugger, which normally is very well used, and having done a survey of it over 3 months previously, it's about 6 times better used than the tennis courts.
Now, you might be forgiven for thinking, OK, the people who use this corner of Hillsborough Park really care passionately about its future, but what does that have to do with me? I live at the other end of Yorkshire, that's miles away. Well, there's a bigger story here about the way our parks are used commercially. Particularly as if we turn a corner from the multi-use games area, you can see vast swathes of Hillsborough Park are still closed off as the clean-up goes on from last weekend's Tramlines Festival. The work to restore the park is now underway. Tramlines are paying. But this is the start of the summer holidays, and some parts of the grass are clearly going to be off-limits to the public for a while.
But I think there is a real challenge for authorities to find the income to be able to support the spaces. And what we'd really advocate for at Fields and Trust is that where income is being generated within those parks and green spaces, it's being ring-fenced to improve them, and it's not being taken away to plug other gaps in the budget.
The commercialisation of public parks is going too far. And specifically, I think Hillsborough Park is being used as a venue for generating income that is not necessarily going back into Hillsborough Park.
Comments on the plans to lease out the mugger area have to be with the council by the end of August. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Next, a singer-songwriter says it's magical that he's been able to play the guitar for the first time in years thanks to treatment he's had for Parkinson's. Phil Webster from Shipley has lived with the condition for 19 years. But after a procedure which saw a device be attached to his brain, some of his symptoms have now eased. Our health correspondent Jamie Coulson has been to meet him.
Music is a form of language. It helps me to communicate with people. It's something I thought I'd never get back. It's made me want to tell people that there is hope. I have 2 wires behind this ear.
Just over a year ago, Phil Webster underwent surgery called deep brain stimulation to treat his Parkinson's disease. Tiny electrodes were inserted into his brain and connected to a device under the skin that sends electrical impulses to the damaged areas of the brain. Before surgery, the singer-songwriter was unable to play the guitar, suffered frequent falls and struggled to walk. But afterwards, he saw an immediate improvement.
I was walking almost completely normal around the hospital wards, and I just started laughing.
We're looking at your beta waves in your brain.
Deep brain stimulation is not new. But the device implanted in Phil at Sheffield Teaching Hospitals contains new technology, able to record and analyse brain activity. It means clinicians can more easily adjust settings and optimise his care.
When the beta waves are high, it means that you've got your Parkinson's symptoms at their worst. And when those beta waves are low, it means that those symptoms are well controlled.
Now we've altered the stimulation. How does that feel regarding your gait and mobility?
I feel a lot safer.
It guides what you need to do and even anticipates the type of therapy that the patient needs. And this is very important because Parkinson's disease is progressive. It will get worse, but this technology can anticipate what's required and therefore help you deliver and ensure the optimal therapy that's needed.
It's been quite magical, really. It changed my mood, my outlook on life. It means the world to me.
Now, a local dentist has partnered with a charity for homeless people in Leeds to help the city's rough sleepers. The NHS-funded project's already helped more than 150 people. Let's take a look how it works.
Hello, is it Billy? Would you like to come through?
My teeth have got really bad. I've been staying in the woods. The Homeless Street Angels is the only company I've found that offers help with your teeth for a free service for the homeless. Especially with me, I don't really like sleeping in the woods. It's not something I want to do. I'd quite happily have a home. I'm quite a quiet man. I like to read, write. I'm quite creative. Yeah, my teeth aren't great. I've got a very bad back one on the right. But with the free service today, hopefully I'll get the right help.
It's a massive thing for them. Their self-esteem, their self-worth, everything. It just completely changes everything about them once they've got their teeth sorted.
Now, some of these patients have not seen a dentist in years and years and have got a lot of neglect, and the patients have had a lot of pain. We're really lucky and fortunate in Yorkshire that the NHS commissioners were quite forward-thinking and they actually commissioned this as a service. So these are the patients who are turning up at 111 or at A&E. So us being able to treat them here means they're not having episodes of pain and discomfort.
There you go. Whoa, that's a corker. There was one gentleman, for instance, that lacked a lot of confidence and he would hide behind a mask. So we made one little comment to him saying basically the last appointment, we want that mask and we're popping it in our bin and we don't want to see it again. Since then, we still routinely see him, so he does come for checkups ever since then. And he's actually mentioned that since seeing us, he's actually got back in contact with family members and job opportunities. So it's lovely to know that just from what we've done, just that 15-minute appointment has completely changed someone's life.
Oh, great stuff. Right, it's time to get the weather now. Here's Paul.
A tale of more rain, I'm afraid, over the next few days. There's absolutely no sign of summer returning. I think we're going to have to wait until around the middle of the month, middle of August, should I say, before it starts improving. But certainly this week, it's looking pretty poor. We've got more rain coming in from the west, courtesy of this system. The next one piles in for Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then an unseasonable northerly with temperatures, really struggling for early August, perhaps no higher than 16 or 17 as we head into Thursday. And there's a radar picture. You can see the rain trundling in from the southwest, and it's just going to move bodily eastwards over the next few hours. So it's a cloudy afternoon with showery outbreaks of rain, one or two heavy bursts in there. You can see there'll be some gaps in the area of rain. We'll see top temperatures quite a humid 18 or 19 degrees. So for this evening and overnight, we'll see further showers or longer outbreaks of rain. I think gradually through the course of the night, certainly eastern areas should become dry, but we'll be left with some patchy rain across the Pennines and lowest temperatures around 12 or 13. So tomorrow again looks quite a cloudy day, probably a dry start in the east, patchy rain in the west at first, and then as we head through the day, a lot of cloud, a risk of a few sharp showers breaking out, a little bit of sunshine if you look at, and we're looking at top afternoon temperatures reaching 19 degrees, and that is the forecast.
Those poor kids on their summer holidays.
I know.
It's always
terrible.
The way. All right, Amy is back at 6:30. We will see you then. Have a great afternoon.